Before I even start this video, I'm gonna say this now. During my videos, I usually try to reference the source material in some way, usually through the transition slides that I make. But for this video, I'm going to be pronouncing the characters' names how they are in the movie. Basically completely wrong. You know, staying true to the source material and all. So, prepare yourselves for the cringe that comes with it. Don't worry, it won't happen much because it hurts just as much to say these as it does to hear them. Just wanted to say that before someone got all upset about it. M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender. Regardless of whatever pieces of Avatar media you like, this is the one that no one likes. It is always looked down on, and rightfully so, with reversed race representation of characters, mispronunciations of almost everyone's names, the horrible choreography to power ratio from the source material, all leading to this movie getting a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Picture and Worst Screenplay of 2010. Oh, and need I point out that this is the reason that the original show didn't get a 4th season? This is one of the many examples of terrible live-action adaptations and why they have the reputation they have in the first place. At the very least, it helps us appreciate those that get it right, or at least right enough. I could go on and on about this, but realistically, what hasn't already been said about this abomination? Besides, movies and TV shows are never the main focus points of my videos. We talk about their video game counterparts here. Let me just say, I've never once wanted a game I've reviewed to be bad. I've expected a good amount of games to be bad, but I've never wanted to go into a game wanting to give myself a bad time, especially with the other Avatar games. I always try to go into a game optimistically, as I want some kind of enjoyment out of every game I play, even if the result ends up not exactly being pleasant. But not this time. I want to flame this game like how Fire Lord Ozai flamed Zuko's face. I want to bury this game beneath the earth further than the Knowledge Spirit Library. Heck, I'm pretty sure even my computer doesn't want me to review this game because I had to remake my transition slides 3 separate times because when I turned my computer off and turned it back on, they'd just be magically gone. This is the only time that's ever happened, by the way. But let's just get to reviewing the M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender video game before I go on a tangent. The story follows the same plot as the movie, which follows the same plot of season 1 of the show. Wow, everything has really come full circle, huh? Ironically, this is also the first time the first season has actually been shown off, because the first game didn't completely represent the first season, but whatever. Something unique, however, is that the entirety of the story is told by Zuko, giving him a bigger focus on capturing the Avatar and reclaiming his honor. This comes at a cost, however. The movie had already cut out stuff to fit in the length of an average movie, but this game not only cuts it down even more, but does something even worse. You know all of those lovable and iconic characters from season 1? Kitara, Sokka, Uncle Iroh, Princess Yue? Yeah, individually, you don't see them for more than 2 minutes in cutscenes, and you don't see them in-game at all. It's all about Zuko and Aang. It physically hurts to say that. This leads to a major focus on these two characters and almost nothing else from any other characters, which are supposed to support them, as they are supporting characters. But when they hardly exist for most of the game, it ends up feeling like they do nothing. So not only is there less of everything on top of already being less of everything, the characters that are supposed to be a part of everything are almost nothing. And the two characters that are the main focus are extremely bland, just like the movie. What a fantastic start. The art style of the comic-esque cutscenes actually looked kinda interesting. To me, they're somewhat similar to the tie-in graphic novels for the movie, even though the cover art of that comic is better than pretty much all of this game's comic-style cutscenes. And as for the in-game art style, it's probably due to the fact that this is based off of a live-action movie and on Wii, which given our track record regarding Wii versions of games with realistic-looking characters, makes sense unfortunately. Even then, those other games look better, or at least are more expressive. You'll almost never see a character's face unless you intentionally look at them with a camera. Plus the environments and even characters look dry. Maybe it's because the other Avatar games tried to capture the cartoon art style that's colorful, then I come into this game and that's the thing that's throwing me off. However, some animations have the same feeling as the animations in The Burning Earth, so what do I know? Regardless, this is definitely the weakest looking title for the Avatar games. Now, on to the voice acting, which is going to be an extremely interesting and frustrating case that normally doesn't happen. So, almost everyone has the same voice actors as they do in the movie. Even one of the generic mobs has an actor from the movie. That was the interesting part. Everything else is frustrating, because A, remember how earlier I pointed out that there are only like 2 characters that are relevant at all in the story? Well, according to research, only 5 characters total are voiced. Ong, Zuko, Commander Zhao, and 2 mobs. That's it. And B, the very few that are in this game aren't really that good. Zuko's dialogue during the cutscenes is fine, but for him and Ong outside of that, their voices feel very independent. What I mean is that when their lines are spoken, it feels like they don't have any context surrounding it.
I must stop him before he destroys my ship.
I killed you.
As in so many things, Zhao, you're wrong. Your time is over. Give up.
What? The ice! It's breaking! Ah! Where am I? This isn't good. I must make my way back up to the city. It must end here.
They all sound the same with almost no real expression in them and no circumstance around them taken into consideration, and it's aggravating. Some music is actually pretty good, but it's not really memorable either. It also doesn't help that I can't find the OST for the game online, so that kinda shows how little people care about it. Not only that, but that means that I can't use the game's OST for this video and will have to use the OSTs from the other Avatar games, which isn't that bad honestly, but it still sucks whenever that happens because video production. Throughout the game, you'll be platforming through areas and beating enemies in your path as one of 3 characters, Ong, Zuko, and the Blue Spirit. All 3 of them have a combo that leads into a strong attack when you've landed enough hits. They also are able to level up by defeating enough enemies, which increases their health and ki. Each character has their own powers and abilities, mostly through bending, which utilizes the blue ki bar. Ong has 5 airbending moves. The first thing is the Air Vortex. This is used to pick up and throw enemies and objects. Then there's the Air Blast, which can be used as a normal projectile or to blow away fire. The Hurricane is a large attack that hits all around Ong. Need to make sure those 2 are sorted out. He also has Insight, which makes him run fast as everything else around him is slowed down. The last one is a separate ability that doesn't use the blue bar, allowing Ong to ride along air currents to certain areas. Zuko utilizes firebending. 2 of his moves, the Fireball and Firebomb, use the blue gauge and are similar to Aang's Air Blast and Hurricane. Both characters can charge their projectiles to break barriers by the way, but the remaining powers are very different. One of them is Enrage, which can be activated when the fire symbol is filled. Enrage increases the damage that Zuko does for a period of time. He also has first-person segments making Zuko shoot projectiles at the upcoming enemies, and during this there's an additional special attack which shoots out a bunch of fireballs. Lastly, the Blue Spirit doesn't do any bending. Instead, he has an approach to stealth to get by. While in stealth mode, he can sneak up on enemies and take them down instantly. He can't stay in stealth mode forever though, as that uses the blue bar. The Blue Spirit does more than just stealth though, as he has a dash attack which leads into a strong attack. He can also climb on certain walls. Zuko can do that too for some reason. Not really sure why, it's not like they're the same person or anything. Around each level there are coins that can be collected, which unlocks artwork and multiplayer stuff such as arenas and power-ups in said arenas. Playing as the Blue Spirit is actually kinda fun. Maybe it's just a Sly Cooper in me, and I haven't played a stealth game in forever, but sneaking around by climbing along the walls and instantly taking down enemies is fun. It doesn't give you the most amount of stealth options in a game, but for the bare minimum, it works. This is due to being able to even the odds by taking out multiple enemies before a battle breaks out, especially the ones that alert other people about your location. I will admit the dash attack is extremely broken since it allows you to be invincible and immediately do a strong attack afterwards, but that's probably the reason why he's fun combat wise. Unfortunately, he's only used in 1 level. The unlockable artwork looks really good and is far more accurate to the show than the movie ever will be. That on top of the in-game achievements, which are pretty varied in what you do for them, give a decent amount of extra stuff to go after. This has the same almost one-button combat that the last game had, which as a whole makes this game boring. Due to the motion control input for the strong hit, which works fine, is actually similar to No More Heroes, but No More Heroes has combo variety, you learn more abilities, there's many kinds of bosses, and usually the strong hits instantly kill an enemy to help keep it from feeling stale. But with this game, there's not really enough to keep it from feeling old after about 10 minutes at best, and unless it's done on a standard enemy, this strong hit won't kill with just one hit. Sometimes it takes a lot, and it's repetitive. With the previous games, there was at least a bit of stuff to use, whether it was new moves or the environment, but here you don't even learn to waterbend at all, which was, you know, kind of the entire point of going up there. Using Ong's air vortex on enemies while also being able to grant invincibility when throwing stuff, for some reason, feels a lot slower than just woodpeckering the A button. Zuko's Enrage helps with this, kinda, but it's still a very mash heavy experience. The first person segments are probably the best example of this. There's pretty much no reason to not spam fireballs. Just aim at enemies and press the A button over and over until it's over. It's incredibly boring. This arena mode kinda sucks. Instead of you actually fighting against another person, it's more you and the other person beat up enemies and whoever has more points wins. Now inherently that's not a bad mode. In fact, that's not even a bad arena in general. At worst, this would just be a boring multiplayer mode, not that important. So you'd imagine that this would go in the ugly section of my videos. But there is one reason why this is in the bad section. Look at this box art. Doesn't the lack of enemies make it look like a regular PvP mode in the same vein as the arena mode in the Burning Earth? But instead, it's this. Then that raises the question, should we have expected it to be the way that it was for the Burning Earth? Yes, because both games were made by the same company, and the only initial evidence for the arena doesn't show enemies in it. Basically, this box art lies for this mode. And box art seems like something that's not important, but I've done something like this before, so I gotta stay consistent with that. There surprisingly is no strength level up, which would be very useful and would get rid of the problem of feeling like you're just pressing one button at least a little bit. It also gives bigger emphasis to Zuko's Enrage, though that might also make it extremely broken since that's already really strong, but that's also kind of the point of it, so honestly there's not much else to say. Everything else was kind of just black and white on what I wanted to say. Wow, this is pretty much the same experience that I've had with every other Avatar game I've covered up to this point. This is why I should never want a game to be bad. It's just the same song and dance I've had since the first Avatar game, and I feel nothing at this point. Sure, it's worse than the other games, but honestly, I can't even get mad at the game for how it is, at least not with everything, because the source material is one of the worst in existence to me. I can be very mad with the other games because they're based on something that is really good, but this game is the exact opposite. Due to that, I'm almost proud of this game being close in quality to the other ones because it's the first time in the series where the game was better than the source it's based off of. Now it probably seems that I went really hard on this game, but the thing is, I feel like I wanted to go even harder on this game, but I just can't. And you probably expect me to go a lot worse on this game too. And it's mainly due to my other experiences with some other license-based games. Had I not played those already, this would definitely be one of the worst ones I've ever played. But because I have had those experiences already, this is kinda just nothing at this point. And that's probably what hurts the most. I already knew I wasn't gonna get that much satisfaction out of it. And at this point, the only anger I have is the fact that it didn't let me hate it enough. Korra, give me strength. What's going on, my fellow residents? It's me, TheFrozenCavern, and thank you guys for making it to the end of this video. But finally, all of the last Airbender games are done. Aside from like the handheld ones, but I'm more than likely not going to do those. So instead, I'll be moving on to the Korra games, but first I need to actually watch Korra because I actually never did that. But I do have Korra on DVD now, so I can actually watch that. And then I can review the Korra game that's on Steam because I was able to get it really early on. Like I think it was like, what, 2 years ago or something when I did that, because I knew if I didn't do it then, I would not be able to review it now. So that was definitely a heavy investment. But yeah, Avatar movie. Fun times. I honestly don't want to talk about this for very long because my goodness, that movie's really bad. But I think I can say that this is the first time that I've actually reviewed a game for the source material that I actually hate. And that's the main reason I took a different approach into this game than I do with any other one that I've done. But yeah, hopefully Korra gives me strength. But if you have not already, make sure you guys go down into the description below because that's where all of my social medias are located. My Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Discord are all in the description, and they are always for you guys to be notified of whenever I make another video or have an update for the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more, as well as share this video out with your friends and family. But until the next video, take care.